Workers of the last hour.
The kingdom of heaven is like the father of a family, who went out at daybreak in order to hire workers to work in his vineyard. Having agreed with the workers that he would pay them 1 denarius per day, he sent them to the vineyard. He went out again at the 3rd hour of the day, and seeing others who were in the square not doing anything, he said to them, "You go also to my vineyard and I will give you what is reasonable." And they went there. Again, he went out at the 6th and 9th hours of the day and did the same. And having gone out at the 11th hour, he found others who were without anything to do and said to them, "Why have you stood around all day without working?" They told him that it was because no one had hired them. He said to them, "You too go to my vineyard." When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to the one who was taking care of his business, "Call the workers and pay them, from the last to the first." Thus, those who had not come to the vineyard except when the 11th hour was near received 1 denarius each. Those who were hired first came in their turn, believing they would be given more, but each one received no more than 1 denarius. Upon receiving it, they complained against the father of the family, saying, "These last worked only 1 hour and you have made them equal to us who bore the load and heat of the day." But in response, he said to one of them, "My friend, I have done you no wrong. Did you not agree with me on 1 denarius for your day's work? Take what belongs to you and go. As for me, I wish to give to the last as much as to you. Is it not permitted to me to do what I want? And is your eye evil because I am good? Thus, the last shall be first and the first shall be last, for many are called but few are chosen."
Matt 20:1-16. See also Parable of the Wedding Feast, chap. 18 No. 1. The Spirit's Teachings. The last shall be first.
The workers of the last hour had a right to their wages, but their willingness had to have put them at the disposal of the master who would hire them, and their tardiness could not have been the result of laziness or ill will. They did, in fact, have a right to their wages because, since daybreak, they had been waiting impatiently for someone who would finally call them to work. They were hard-working, they only lacked work. However, if they had refused work at each hour of the day, if they had said, "Be patient, repose pleases me," when the last hour sounds, it will be time to think about today's wages. What need is there for me to inconvenience myself for a master whom I neither know nor love? The later the better. These, my friends, would not have received the wages of work, but of laziness. What would have become of those workers if, instead of only remaining idle, they had used the hours of the day meant for labor to commit blameworthy acts, if they had blasphemed God, spilled the blood of their brothers and sisters, caused problems among families, ruined those who trusted them, abused the innocent, or indulged in all the ignominies of humanity? What would have become of them? Would it be enough for them to, at the last hour, "Sir, I have used my time badly. Use me until the end of the day so that I may do a little, although it will be very little on my part, and give me the wages of a worker of good will"? No, no! The master would have said to them, "I do not have any work for you right now. You have squandered your time. You have forgotten what you have learned and you no longer know how to work in my vineyard. Therefore, begin to learn once more, and when you are more willing, come to me and I will open my vast field to you, where you will be able to work at all hours of the day." Good Spiritists, My dearly beloved, you are all workers of the last hour. The one who says, I began work at daybreak and I will finish only at nightfall would be very proud. You all came when you were called, some a little earlier, some a little later, to the incarnation whose shackles you bear. However, for how many centuries has the Lord been calling you to his vineyard, without your wanting to enter it? Now is the time for you to receive your wages. Employ the time you have remaining well, and never forget that your existence, no matter how long it may seem to you, is only a fleeting instant in the immensity of time comprising eternity for you.
Constantine, a Protector Spirit, Bordeaux, 1863.
Jesus loved the simplicity of symbols, and in his forceful language, the workers who came to first hour were Moses, the prophets, and all the initiators who marked the stages of progress that has been continued down to the centuries by the apostles, the martyrs, the church fathers, lean individuals, philosophers, and finally, Spiritists. Spiritists, the last to arrive, have been announced and foretold since the dawn of the Messiah, and they will receive the same recompense. But what am I saying? A greater recompense. As the last to arrive, Spiritists profit from the intellectual endeavors or their predecessors, because humans must inherit from humans, and their endeavors and results are collective. God blesses solidarity. Furthermore, many among them are alive again today, or will come back in the future to complete the work they had formerly begun. More than one patriarch, more than one prophet, more than one disciple of Christ, more than one disseminator of the Christian faith may be found among Spiritists. However, they are now more enlightened, more advanced, no longer working on the foundation but on the top floor of the building. Their wages, therefore, will be in proportion to the merit of the work. Reincarnation, that wonderful doctrine, both immortalizes and defines spiritual affiliation, called to give an accounting of its earthly mandate. The spirit understands the continuity of the task, interrupted but always resumed once again. It sees and senses that it has seized in its flight the thought of its predecessors. It enters the learning experience again, mature by experience, to advance a little more. And all, workers of the earth in the last hour, with their eyes open to profound justice of God, no longer complain, but simply worship. This is one of the true meanings of this parable. Like all the parables that Jesus addressed to the people, beneath their forms and images they contain the seeds of the future, as well as the revelation of the magnificent unity that harmonizes all things in the universe, and the solidarity that reconnects all present beings to the past and future.
Henri Heine, Paris, 1863. The Mission of Spiritists.
Do you not already hear the rumbling of the tempest that must do away with the old world and engulf in nothingness the sum of earth's iniquities? Ah, bless the Lord, you who put your faith in his sovereign justice, and who, as new apostles of belief revealed by prophetic voices on high, go forth and preach the new doctrine of reincarnation and the degree to which spirits have evolved, according to whether they have accomplished their missions well or badly, and borne their earthly trials. Fear not, the tongues of fire are upon your heads. Oh, true followers of Spiritism, you are the chosen ones of God. Go and preach the divine word. The time is come in which you must sacrifice your habits, your labors, and your futile concerns to its propagation. Go forth and proclaim it. Spirits from on high are with you. Of course, you will speak to individuals who will not want to listen to the voice of God, for that voice incessantly calls them to selflessness. You will proclaim disinterestedness to the greedy, abstinence to the dissolute, and kindness to domestic tyrants as well as to despots. Wasted words, I know. But what does it matter? You must water with your sweat the ground that you must sow, for it will not produce a crop except through repeated efforts of the evangelical hoe and plow. Go forth and proclaim. Yes, all you men and women of good faith, who are aware how small you are as you look at other worlds scattered throughout the infinite. Set out on a crusade against injustice and iniquity. Go forth and reverse this worship of the golden calf, each day more and more encroaching. Go, God will guide you. Simple and ignorant humanity. Your tongues will be loosened, and you will speak as no other orator speaks. Go forth and proclaim, and attentive peoples will joyfully take in your words of consolation, fraternity, hope, and peace. What do the traps matter, which will be set for you along your way? Only wolves fall into traps for wolves, because the shepherd will know how to defend his sheep against such murderous butchers. Go forth, men and women who are great before God, and who, more blessed than St. Thomas, believe without asking to see, and accept the achievements of mediumship even when you have never been successful in obtaining them yourselves. Go forth. The Spirit of God is leading you. Press onward, you remarkably faithful phalanx. And the great battalions of disbelievers will vanish before you like the morning mist at the first rays of the rising sun. Faith is the virtue that moves mountains, Jesus has told you. However, impurity and all the vices of impurity lie heavier than the heaviest mountains in the heart of humankind. So, go forth with courage in order to move this mountain of iniquity, which future generations will know about only through legend, just as you yourselves know only very imperfectly about the period of time prior to pagan civilization. Yes, moral and philosophical upheavals will occur at all points on the globe. The time approaches when the divine light will be shed over the two worlds. Go forth, then, and take the divine word to the great ones of the world who will scorn it, to the learned who will demand proof, to the small and simple who will accept it, because it is especially among the martyrs of labor, that earthly expiation, that you will find zeal and faith. Go forth. They will receive the holy consolation you bring them with canticles of thanksgiving, and by singing praises to God, and they will bow their heads in thanks for the portion of their earthly afflictions. May your phalanx be armed with resolution and courage. Get to work. The plow is ready. The soil awaits you. Now you must work. Go forth and give thanks to God for the glorious task He has entrusted to you. But bear in mind that among those called to Spiritism, many have gone astray. So watch your course and follow the way of the truth. Question: if many of those called to Spiritism have gone astray, by what signs do we recognize those who are on the righteous path? Answer: you will recognize them by the principles of true charity that they profess and practice. You will recognize them by the number of afflicted to whom they take consolation. You will recognize them by their love for their neighbor, their selflessness, and their personal disinterestedness. You will recognize them, lastly, by the triumph of their principles. For God wills the triumph of His law. Those who obey His laws are the elect, and He will give them victory. However, He will crush those who falsify the spirit of that law and who make it a stepping stone for satisfying their vanity and ambition.
Erastus, the Medium's Guardian Angel, Paris, 1863. Workers of the Lord.
The time is near for the fulfillment of those things proclaimed for the transformation of humankind. Blessed will be those who have worked in the Lord's field selflessly and with no other motive than charity. Their workdays will be paid 100-fold more than what they have expected. Blessed will be those who would have said to their fellow men and women, brothers and sisters, let us work together and combine our efforts so that the Master may find the work accomplished at His coming, For the master will say to them, "Come unto me, you who have been good servants, you who have known how to silence your jealousies and discords so that no harm would come to the work." But woe unto those who, because of their dissensions, will have delayed the time of the harvest, for the storm will come and they will be swept away in the upheaval. They will cry, "Have mercy! Have mercy!" But the Lord will say to them, "Why do you ask for mercy, you who did not show mercy to your brothers and sisters, you who refused to offer them a hand, you who trampled the weak instead of upholding them? Why do you ask for mercy, you who sought your recompense in the delights of the earth and in the satisfaction of your pride? You have already received your recompense, such as you wanted it. Ask for nothing more. The recompenses of heaven are for those who have not asked for the recompenses of the earth." At this moment, God is taking a census of his faithful servants and is taking note of those who only have the appearance of devotion, so that they may not usurp the wages of the courageous servants, because it is for those who do not recoil before their tasks that God will entrust the most difficult positions in the great work of regeneration through Spiritism. And these words will be fulfilled: the first will be last and the last will be first in the kingdom of heaven.
Spirit of Truth, Paris, 1862.